Hello, everyone. This is Adam with the AEW Maine Treasure Adventures. Today, we are on Penobscot Indian Island Reservation in Old Town, Maine. I've always been a huge fan of Major League Baseball and the history around it, the good and the bad. We are here today to visit the grave of an extremely important Major League Baseball player. His name is Louis Francis Sockalexis. He is remembered today as the first Native American and the first recognized minority to perform in the National League. He was born right here in Maine on October 24th, 1871. Matter of fact, he grew up right here on the Penobscot Indian Island Reservation. As a child, Louis's athletic talents were noticeable. It was reported that he could throw a baseball across the Penobscot River from Indian Island to the shore of Old Town. Him and his father also used to entertain crowds at the Bangor Race Track by playing catch across the entire track. Not only was he athletic, he was also very well educated. He went to high school in Van Buren's St. Mary's. In 1893, his last year in high school, Louis played for one of the teams in the league that would end up playing Holy Cross baseball team. His hitting, base running, and fielding all stood out to the Holy Cross team, so much so that future Major League Baseball catcher Doc Powers was one of the Holy Cross players that encouraged Louis to return with them to Worcester, Massachusetts, and enroll at Holy Cross. From 1894 to 1896, Louis was a member of the Holy Cross baseball, football, and track teams. For baseball, his batting average was .444. After his college coach took a coaching position at Notre Dame, Sockalexis decided to transfer to the University of Notre Dame for the 1897 season. One of the first games he ever got to play in for Notre Dame was an exhibition game against the New York Giants at the Polo Grounds, which is one of the most famous fields of all time in the MLB. During this exhibition game, he got to face future Major League Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Amos Ruzzi. Sockalexis crushed a home run off the first pitch he saw off the future Hall of Famer Ruzzi. Although that wasn't the first time Louis got the best of Ruzzi. He also hit a game-winning hit in extra innings to win another exhibition game. Sockalexis' career at Notre Dame was cut short in an event that foreshadowed future problems. The university expelled him not long after he arrived for his problems with alcohol. He went on to sign a major league contract with the Cleveland Spiders just a month later. In his first season with the Spiders, Sockalexis, whose nickname was the Deerfoot of the Diamond, he hit for a .338 batting average with 3 home runs, 42 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases in just 66 games that season. Burdened by his alcoholism, Louis played in very few games over the next 2 seasons of Major League Baseball. He did play in the minor leagues until returning to Indian Island to coach youth teams in 1901. A year later, he decided to go back to the minor leagues, and then he gave it one more shot in 1907 before hanging him up. Louis, unfortunately for his whole career, through college and the major leagues and even the minor leagues, he had to deal with taunting and racial chants during games. Although he only played in 94 major league games, but he did perform extremely well for the Cleveland Spiders from 1897 to 1899. His career batting average was .313. He had 3 home runs. Now keep in mind, home runs are extremely hard to get because most fields didn't have any fences. He also had 55 RBIs, and most of them were in his first season. Sockalexis suffered from tuberculosis, heart trouble in his later years. He died on Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1913, in Burlington, Maine, and now here, interred in the Old Town Cemetery. Although he had a brief, short career, and maybe made some bad decisions that affected his playing time, he was an amazing ball player for his time. He also faced more obstacles during his time in professional baseball than most people do in their whole entire life. It was reported that fans of the opposing teams often shouted racial slurs toward him due to his Penobscot heritage. Some fans, even today, are ridiculous on what they yell at players, but I always look at it as those fans, just like today's fans that do the same thing, they would never be able to hit a ball, throw a ball, or field a ball like Louis did, or any other major or minor league baseball player. As for the Cleveland Spiders, they became the Cleveland Naps, and then in 1915, they changed their name one more time to the Cleveland Indians in honor of Louis Francis Sockalexis. Today, a plaque honoring Louis stands in Cleveland's Heritage Park, just beyond the center field of Progressive Field, and is in the Cleveland Guardians Hall of Fame, where he belongs. I would love it if one day Cooperstown Hall of Fame would put Louis where he rightfully belongs, which is in the Hall of Fame. His impact on baseball, though for a short period of time, was greater than any stats. He opened up doors for minorities to play on a Major League Baseball team. And he did it 50 years before the great Jackie Robinson on April 15th, 1947, for the Brooklyn Dodgers. He was the first African American to play in Major League Baseball.